راديو أناتكم في جنوب السودان.
Welcome to the Sundown show. On this show, we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. We stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, Your Eye on South Sudan. The Sundown, for the news, views, opinion, debates and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, Your Eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today is Thursday, the 29th of May 2025. The program comes to you Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a comprehensive look at the daily events, the latest information, in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and exciting surprises. To be part of the show, call us on 0911-22986-986 or send for us a text message on 0913-986-986. If you can't access the radio, we are also on Facebook, X, YouTube, and more. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging to that's our website at www.iradio.org. Coming up, the removal of South Sudan's long-serving Chief Justice Chandrech Madud and his deputy by President Salva Kiir has held by legal advocates as long overdue step toward reforming the country's struggle judiciary.
This change has taken people all by surprise after many calls for such changes to happen. Fortunately, it has happened, and I really appreciate it.
Well, we shall listen to what does it mean, or what does this decision really mean to many of you, and including even advocate. Stay tuned for these stories and more coming to you in today's edition of Sundown Show with me, Madrama James.
Itabasma le radio Hagiga, I radio in Takum fi Junub Sudan.
Well, tonight we begin the show with the current affairs in our country's affairs segment. Today, we turn our attention to a historic shake-up in South Sudan judiciary. President Salva Kiir has relieved Chief Justice Chandrech Madud and his deputy from their positions, a move that has caught the attention of legal minds and citizens alike. In their place, Dr. Benjamin Bagdeng and Laku Tranquilo Nyumbe has been appointed. What does this shake-up mean for the future of South Sudan justice system? Well, to unpack this significant development, iRadio's Obacho Kushi spoke with advocate and human rights defender Godfrey Victor, who has long been vocal about the need for reform within the judiciary. Let's listen to the interview. We begin by asking what his immediate reaction to the removal of Chief Justice Chandrech Madud and his deputy Justice John Gadwich by President Salva Kiir last night, and this is what he had to say.
First of all, this change has taken people all by surprise after many calls for such changes to happen, and fortunately it has happened. And I really appreciate it. We do not have any personal issues with the Chief Justice or whoever has been removed, but it is a routine change of an institution that there is need for such a change. And this change has been overdue. You know, I'm one of the people who have been calling for the change of Chief Justice, that there is need for change, for the new people also to take up such responsibility after the judiciary has been going through numerous challenges, from man-made challenges, institutional-made challenges, that almost cripple the judiciary.
So do you see this decision is a response to the growing public and legal fraternity pressure over the judiciary performance?
I think the president might have heard the cry of the people. There is a widespread condemnations in the regions, in the nation, within the nation. People have so far frustrated. There is the congestion of prisons. Inmates are not being brought to court. Their family are suffering. Litigants are paying money. The cases are not going anywhere. Court passes decisions. Decisions are not being implemented against the poor people. So people are so frustrated, and people have cried, and now people have lost hope. Some are even traumatized. I think such cries and talking and condemnation have reached the president. I hope it is due to these collective reactions, cry. That's why I hope the president might have heard the cry of the people.
Yes, and also Advocate Geoffrey, in your view, what were the key failures or challenges under the leadership of the former Chief Justice, if you can mention a few?
In fact, first of all, I want to say the judicial personnel, more especially our judges. You remember most of our judges, some of the judges were fired, and there have been a vacuum in the judiciary. And the judges were not taken care of. Let me first start with the judges. Our judges are undergoing a terrible conditions. Work environment is not there. Judges are sharing. Even some judges don't have water to drink. But they still coming to court. Some judges are moving footing. Some judges are not having security for their own family. Their children are getting sick. Nobody's treating them. The salary of a judge, even a beggar in the street earns more salary than the judges. So the welfare of the judicial personnel, the judges were not taken care of. Number two, you have things like paper. Paper are missing in the court. Judges have to come with their own pen to write. Okay? Mm-hmm. Judges are moving barefooted. They don't have transport. And remember, this is a judge who is condemning people to death and is using public transport. Judges are sleeping in houses that are very dehuman, corrugated houses made of iron sheets. No salary. Their children are sick. Leave alone, this is a part of the judicial system. Come to the point of the function of the judiciary. Inmates, a mere transport to bring inmates from the prison, no, nothing. It has gone for many years. Mm-hmm. No promotions. Mm-hmm. No accountability. Corruption is their highest order. So because of these situations, the judiciary have really rendered the hope of the people into dustbin. And that's why when we look at the judiciary, a judiciary is supposed to reflect an independent institution. That is an institution that restores, comforts the victim of injustices. It doesn't make sense for somebody who is suffering from injustice, being haunted by injustice, being persecuted by injustice, comes and find injustice in the court itself. The court environment is not an environment where people believe they will get justice. You know, there is no room, there is no expansion of judiciary. We are having some of the areas are not having judiciary, are not functional, some of the states. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a problem that there is a big gap. Mm-hmm. There is need that judiciary challenges that are made by man-made need to be addressed.
Mm-hmm. Now, yes, from your view, how can this situation be addressed? Now we are having a new Chief Justice and his deputy. Do you think their appointments, if they take office now, will make some changes, or the status quo will remain as it is?
I don't want to express something, but what I would like to say, the Deputy Chief Justice and the Chief Justice, these are justices that we know them and we know how they are doing their things. There is a hope that they will do something. But what I wanted to remind the new Chief Justice and the Deputy is that they are going to undertake an institution that is almost completely collapsed. Now, they need to double their effort. First of all, they need to make an assessment, talking to lawyers, talking to bar association, talking to the judicial personnel, to collect all the challenges before they take into their office. They also need to look at what are the work plans laid down by the previous Chief Justice that was not achieved by him. They need to look at the work plan. Maybe there are other things that were good. They should take upon the good things that they think can help them. There is already a vacuum in the Supreme Court itself by the appointment of the two justices, the Chief Justice and the Deputy Justices, who are members of the Supreme Court. There is already a vacuum in the Supreme Court itself. There is need to fill in that gap. And this gap creates also a gap in the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal also, it creates a gap in the High Court. There is need for appointment or returning back the justice that were dismissed by the Chief Justice the other time, the former Chief Justice. Okay? There is need also to really restructure, to restructure the judiciary. And also, there is a need to really create an environment that is functional. They need also to take into account why are judiciary passing judgments and some of those judgments were not being enforced. For instance, land issues that are against powerful people in this country, that the poor people obtain the decision in their favor, are not being executed. So it will be a duty of the new Chief Justice that the decision of a court, once it is not enforced, there is no need for a court. And a court must make sure its decision, being an independent institution, is enforced against whoever the decision has been against. They must address the issues of the corrupt court police we have, who are not executing, who are not making sure the order of the courts are being executed. The new Chief Justice might take into account the delayment of cases. It also must take account the cry of the people. It also must take account the corruption within the judiciary land department and the corruption of expropriation of people's property by the government institution. The court needs to pronounce itself beyond interest of state, government, individual, or finances to the justice promised to these people of this country. The court must uphold its principles of confirming, pronouncing the law other than the action and intention of an individual.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to be done. The new Chief Justice really needs, and we pray that they need to be given time. The issue today, you appoint somebody today, tomorrow is fired. I don't think that institution will be reformed. That institution needs a total withhold and a total reform. There must be appointment of new judges trained from the various levels of the court in order to send to the public and build the confidence of the public to the institution that people are already afraid of.
Well, that was part one of Obacho Kushagawa's interview with Gary Victor, who is an advocate and human rights defender. Now, in part two, advocate talked about a legal committee and reform process. Let's hear him again.
Advocate Godfrey, do you believe the appointed Chief Justice Dr. Benjamin Bagdeng and his deputy Laku Tranquilo Nyombe, do you believe they have the credibility and the integrity to restore confidence in the justice system? As you mentioned, most of the challenges have been faced in the judiciary of South Sudan.
I must make this point clear. These are competent individuals, competent judges. Laku Tranquilo from his writing or Dr. Benjamin Bag from the judgment they have so far delivered, even the lay person on the street will confirm to what I'm saying. These are people who are strong. These are people who fear nobody, but they only fear God and fear the law itself. However, if the people of South Sudan want these two brave men to do their work diligently to the aspiration of the people, they should not tie their hands politically. Independence of the judiciary should be respected and honored. They should allow these people to discharge their constitutional mandate according to the independence of this institution. Any political interference into their work will render them the same as the previous injustice. There is a need to support them, empower them, encourage them, finance them in order to support and restore back the glorious days of judiciary and the fundamental aspiration our framers of our constitution, our fathers who have drafted our constitution, that justice shall not be denied, regardless of what justice will be delivered, and people will feel that justice has been delivered, and they will see that justice has been delivered. There is a very big responsibility that the Chief Justice and his deputy must come clearly and work and pronounce the illegal expropriation of land of the poor people by the state or individual within the ministries, state ministries of physical infrastructure. It has been a problem, but we want to see the new Chief Justice and his deputy pronouncing clearly that any expropriation of property of individuals, such injustice must come to an end. And we need to see there is deep congestion in the prison. It is a very shameful to see a Chief Justice at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the court, but inmates in the prison cannot be brought simply because there is no fuel in the car is not there. Such individuals, such man-making challenges need to be completely removed. We want to see judicial personnel happy doing their work, papers in the court, water in the court, justice judges are taking care of their needs. We can achieve this, but we need to support the new team, and we need to encourage the new team, and the state, the government need to empower them, and the entity that appoint them need to support them to enable them to exercise the independence of the judiciary.
All right. And lastly, are you hopeful that these changes signal the beginning of a broader reforms within the justice sector in South Sudan? Why or why not?
I think it is very important that South Sudan is at the crossroads of judicial and legal issues pertaining to the peace agreement. Legal challenges must arise, issues to do with elections that we soon are coming to, and all these things need such reforms that this is part of the reform, and we should perceive this as the beginning of the reform. Of course, to talk about the reform of the judiciary, it has to start with something, and this is something that we see it is the beginning, the start. And after this, now the new Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice will have to take upon their soldiers to see that institutions that are created within the Judiciary Act are functional. Sometimes there are laws that are passed. Those laws are not having any reflection because part of the institution or rules to accomplish these rules were supposed to be passed by the Chief Justice or Chief Justice to take action. For instance, we have the Labor Act. The Labor Act 2017 that was passed, it is talking about the formation of the labor courts. The formation of the labor courts whereby these labor courts will have to sit at with the high court judges. But the law is there, but the Chief Justice has not formed this court. So you have the law, but you don't have the forum for the litigant to go. So people are beating their heads. Some have to go to the county court, some go to the high court. There is this kind of confusion here and there. So all these confusions has to be addressed by the new team. We hope that if this is the spirit people are looking at, that South Sudan needs to move towards positive actions, positive services to our people. Our people have cried more than enough. My special judiciary is the center, is the referee that will overrule actions that are perpetrated by the state, by the individual, by the region, and whoever. So there is need for us to build a strong judiciary that will have effect. Its action shall have effect in the life of ordinary people. And because of this, we will block out criticism that are in the region, international. South Sudan has been, legal system has been crippled and abused, and we have been insulted. But we hope this will be the beginning of the restoration. And everybody is happy with these changes. It will be now a challenge upon the new Chief Justice and his deputy that the aspiration of the people for congratulating them to come into this position will not be taken for granted. Neither should they forget in a single second of their life the rule of law, justice to the poor, and justice for all.
Well, that wrap up, of course, the interview between my colleague Obacho Kushagawa and Gary Victor, who is an advocate and human rights defender in the country right here. It's your turn now to share your thought with us on this decision taken by His Excellency President Salva Kiir to make some changes within the judiciary system. Could this signal the beginning of a broader reform in the justice sector, or what's your take? Share your thought with us on 091122986986 zesemena fiyombi taumbari reisi shilu khatwa shaniamulu tagerat bedha fi judiciary فيتبين تغييرات بهقدر جب التنمية ومشاكلات كله توجد الجنوبين كان قاعد بمر من فوق وشارك معنا رأي بتاكي أول مخالمة في قد أي راديو أي راديو مساء نور جوزيف
أنا بودي شكرا كثير بتاعنا يعني كل ما زمن وكان حاجة مباراه كويسة وطالب أكبر. أكيد نقول جال يعني. هو طبعا ديجريز كتير sometimes ما بساعدنا لأنه ديجري اللي سجل برا هو ما يحل. الحل لكلامه ياو جينا كلام له حاجة ما كويس ولا ما برا كويس بودي كيد بونسبو كان كده ملبسه لكن ما ممكن تقدروا جينا من برا من البيت.
ما Chief Justice هو شيلو 14 سنة في حكومة.
شيلو سنة كتير في حكومة ما بطل كان جد بشكل كويس. حتى كان شيلو 20 ولا كم بروفايل بشكل كويس. ما حتى رئيسين اللي كم سنة في حكومة ما لما شيلو في برا لكن يعني زول حتى كان بيجيب كتير كان بدرين كلامه ما بطل. ولكن أنا يا مدرما جيمس أنا مقتنع قاعد يجري كثير رئيس قاعد أمور كله.
نعم.
أنا مقتنع فيه يعني رئيس أو قاعد جه كونتاكت في الكنيسة. اللويا بكونتاكت بوجي في كده لكن جرال بيتا لقونا ده ما
نعم خلاص كناس ونس في تغيير انت متاكد بيقدر يجيبوا التنميه طبعا في قضيات في ناس بقول قال عندي قضيه كان في محكمه تقريبا من 2006 2005 لكن ما نفسوا بالضبط متاكد بيجيب تغيير في جنوب
كان تغييرات بتعرف بيجي يعني مرات جيرتني ما باعنوا ليش كلام شنو لانه بيجري كثير يعني دول الشيف جالس قدام اودر سيتر كان بيعمل تجارب كان ما له بيشيل برا بيجي كان بيشتغل بيجا اجرا كان ما برا كل بيشيل برا يلا بيجي اجر انا بيجي كان رئيس موسنه يعني تجارب بامول ده يتمبر ده لو بامول كان نو عرفوسي دول ده يوم ما شغال ما بيشتغل سوق انا اكيد تجارب بيجا
شكرا
كانوا بيشيلوا زول لا كان بيقولوا له قال لهم الزول اللي كده كان فينا بيجيبوا اهل بتاعهم بالكرسي انا ممكن تجيرا ده ما برا جيرا وما جرى ما برا فوز
شكرا اخونا جوزيف من لبنان اي راديو
الو السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
ما بانجان من في وسيم.
مرحب.
اولا تحيه لك السلام الكريم. الكلام اللي قالوا المعامل ده كلام في معامل. انا اصلا انا معيد التغيير اللي حصل في حي القضائيه. كان ريج مدود طول اخذ يعني بعد الاستغلال مباشره. الرجل لما طول وجوده ذاته في سنين ده كله ده مجاملات يفترض ما يقعد اكثر من 12 سنه او 14 سنه في كرسي بتاع الحي القضائيه.
ما لو زول في جزء من مواطنين بارو بقول يا بانجان المهم زول شغال كويس انت معلومه زول عشان يطلعوا ويجيبوا ده.
هي اصلا هاي انا ذاته مع تغيير انا ذاته عجبني تغيير ده لكن شوف الهاي القضائيه القضاة زال تعبانين دائما دول الان كله اي زول قاضي دائما بنريحوه يوفر له سكن كويس معيشه كريمه عشان ما يقبل الرشاوي والعداء من الجمهور لانه قاعد في محل حساسه جدا لانه كونه لا حتى القضاة ذاته ما قاعدين يلقوا حق المواصلات وسيله بتاع النقل من المحل يعني من البيت من البيت مثلا لمحل الشغل ما قاعدين يلقوه. فالكلام ده كيف مثلا ما هو زول لما فشل بعدين نفس الوقت في تغاويل وجوزاته فشل حسابات مثلا الاموال اللي تجمع من الايرادات بتاع القضاء ما ينم.
نعم.
تدخل في حسابات الخاصه لا تدخل في حسابات الخاصه يعني القضاء تعبانين ونفس الوقت ما لاقين ياكلوا ما يلقوا المواصلات ما يلقوا شنو في نفس الوقت لسه قاعد في النهايه الوقت قضاءه ذاته مش عشان هو شغال كويس قضاءه على اساس مجاملات او بقول واحد من اولاد المنطقه المعينه كده خليه يقعد عشان يقدر ياكل يلقى الفلوس مش عشان هو شغال شغل كويس. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا. نعم ده كان بانجان في بي او سي اي راديو.
مدرما.
ايوه. اي راديو.
مدرما جيمس.
ايوه.
انجينير موزس.
مرحبا انجينير. تم تاكي تغير بيجيبوا نقدم خدمات للجنوبيين ولا لا؟
الله يا اخوي طبعا نحن الجنوبيين ما بزور الكويت وما بزور البطال.
ليه تبونس كلام كده يا انجينير؟
طبعا كلام انا اقول كده ما بزور الكويت وما بزور البطال.
يا انجين
جوبا ده هي عاصمة جنوب السودان. الناس البازلو في كراسي كان بكون دول مصروف في الولايات كله لكن بكان في جوبا ما بعمل زيارة في ولايات. الناس كان سجن من سنة 2000 وكم هذا رقم من المتنظرين في سجن.
يا سلام. انجينير لو في طريقة بقدر رجال أنا تاني مرة أقرأ في 0912 انجينير بقول في جزء من الناس لو هينو في كورس بتاع حكومة ما بيشيلوا زيارة في باقي ولايات إنه عشان يأكد كمان في شنو بالضبط قاعد بيصل مع مواطنين هنا. ناس ما من دبر أي راديو.
أهلا وسهلا. فاترة ما جمس.
زي ما بقولوا.
كيف أكو؟
ما بطل.
سلام عليك والتيم العامل ولكل المستمعين.
شكرا جزيلا.
أنا نشوف كلام ده التوبيك ده تدون لكن لازم هون في زيادة تجي في السانداون. أنا بجت مع التغيير، فالتغيير ده مهم. نعم مش شخصية مهمة وله زمن طويل خبرة، لكن برضه فله فرصة لناس ثانيين كمان، لأنه التغيير مهم من أجل التغيير هو الأفضل. فأنا بشوف ما بطال أهم شيء بس الناس الجايين ديل كلهم أن يكون على قدر تاع مسؤولية، على قدر تاع تحدي، لأنه في صعوبات في التحديات في تغيير ده ما بيجي ساكت. عشان كده هم لازم كمان يكونوا قويين في نهاية التحديات الجاية منافسة، لازم كلهم ينافسوا البلدية بتاع أي القضايا من كل الاتجاهات اللي هم قاعدين يواجهوا التحدي ديل، هم يكونوا مع ناس سوا. والشيء الثاني كمان يونسوا فوق مهم كلام الجهازين اللي هم اثنين، التشريع والتنفيذ كلهم كده يدوم مع بعضهم سوا، يزول يمشي في مجال بتاعه عشان شغل بمشي كويس، لأنهم ديل هذا هو بسير الشغل والنظام. نعم.
Shukran jazilan. Let me turn my focus to that. Those who have taken their humble time to write to us via our Facebook page. We have Bola Leo Thuchi saying we in the source have a very big challenge in terms of corruption. There is no change that satisfied the South Sudanese community. Keep those messages coming. Then we have Waran. Sigo Waran is saying our biggest problem is judiciary has been mixed up with politics and corruption. We need judiciary to be independent. Take for example Kenya. Thank you so much. Let me now swift over and have this caller on board. Hi radio. Hi radio. Hi radio. Well, you can still get back to us via our studio line and share your thought, whether it is a move taken to make some reshufflement within the judiciary system by President Salva Kiir will bring some changes. Hi, radio.
مساء الخير يا راديو.
مساء النور.
أنا كشف في
مرحبا.
سؤال بقول إذا تغيير جديد ده ممكن يكون في تغيير، ده السؤال بتاعكم في الاستديو. واقصد بتاعي انه التدخل بتاع السياسيين في جهاز الغذائي ده ما بمشي يكون في تغيير. غير ناس دايرين، الناس بيقولوا قال تغيير نفسي غذاء وغذاء كله يعني ما قاعد يعملوه وغذاء ما قاعد شغالين، كل ده كله بتحرك بتاع قروش. اذا كان في قروش في الدوله هي قاعده بيكون في المكتب بتاعه بيشتغل بدايه وفقا للجدول الزمني بتاعه، لكن قروش ما في. الناس كلها الغدة شغالين شغال يد، شغال يوميته، شغال شنو، تشيل زيت توزعه في يعني في عقوبه مثلا ما عنده قروش، وتشوف بيبور ما عنده قروش، ده كريم ما بيقدر يجيب قروش من وين؟ اذا كان الدول ما بدفع اجور بتاع العمال. هنا الخطا ما بشارج مدود، بشارج مدود ده هي في النص عقد، فالتدخل السياسيين في شنطه الغداء اذا ما في استغلاليه غداء ما مستغله معناها الغداء بتاعنا ده هي فاشله. هل يكون جسم مستغل بدون تدخل من جهه سياسيه؟
شكرا جزيلا. نعم جزء منكم كمان بقول موضوع اللي بيلقى خدمات بيشيلوا فترة طويلة عشان كمان بيلقى مرتبات بتمن بعد من سنة الفات. نعم وسنة دي جوا ونص بتاع سنة 2023 فترة دي كله في شنو قاعد بيصل. ده جزء منكم. نشيلوا فاصل نمشي طوال في خاصة تجارية يلا بداك لو نرجع Nina Begedima Monakisha. It's high time now for us to introduce our first commercial break of the show. Let's do some business, then we shall come back and continue with the conversation.
تطعيم تنيمونيا أوبيغا في عشان بيحمي جنتكي ضد نيمونيا الليلة. مرض تنيمونيا دي أو من أخطر أمراض اللي بيقبضوا إيال تحت 5 سنة، وهو مرض السبب تو بكتيريا وبيقبضوا رئتين، وممكن كمان بيقتلوا كان ما عملوا وقاية من فوقه. أعراض تاتو أو حمى وسرعة في التنفس ووجع في الدوس كان زلق نفس أو قحة وصعوبة تتنفس. وزارة الصحة بدعم من شركاتته بيجاملوا تطعيم تنيمونيا في ولايات 10 ومناطق الإدارية 3. كي تشيلوا جنتكي الأمور تو بين 12 و 59 شهر عشان بيلقوا تطعيم تنيمونيا في أقرب مرفق صحي أو مركز تطعيم. تطعيم تنيمونيا ده هو آمن ومجاني وهو جزء من تطعيمات الروتينية. رسالة ده بجالتكم من وزارة الصحة ومنظمة الصحة العالمية يونيسيف وشركاء.
This is iRadio. When contributing to a topic on the radio, please avoid statements that may incite or promote hate. We encourage constructive points of views and criticisms that aim at providing solutions to problems facing the country. We do not want rumor mongering or information that is regarded as hearsays. We advocate for messages of peace and unity among the people of South Sudan. This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Itabasma le radio Hagiga I radio in Takum fi Junub Sudan.
The Sundown for the news, views, opinion, debates and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. If in case you have just joined us, you are most welcome. And we are taking a look at the decision taken by President Salva Kiir to dismiss the Chief Justice, calling it a long overdue and a response to public frustration by the judiciary system. That's according to advocate and human rights defender Gary Victor in his exclusive interviews with iRadio. Now, this time around, we are asking you, dear listener, what's your take on this bold move by President? Could this signal the beginning of a broader reform in the judiciary system? Share your thought with us on 091122986986. iRadio.
Hi, Radio, how are you?
Tamam.
It's me, community advisor from Jongle State Board.
Welcome.
Let me welcome the new leadership take up today.
Yes.
And let me welcome South Sudan from Benjamin Golmel. The topic of today, it is a good topic, by the way. If you stay in the office more than 15 years, things cannot go smoothly.
Why?
That's why you see, you let it to be your office. You mess up everything because it is done according to your mind, according to your will. But if you are supervised by the president, you will be going very smooth with that government of South Sudan. Government stands with only three stands: presidency, judiciary, and parliamentarian. But if those three are going very well, the country can go very smooth. But you have seen everything has met from these judges, because they own it as their home affairs. They are not doing as the country affairs.
My community advisor, the reason for the sacking of Chief Justice was not clearly mentioned, so we cannot again conclude that he has messed up somewhere.
Yes, let me welcome this new generation and new leadership to take up this position, because this position is meant for South Sudanese. If you are sacked today, the new leadership will come and will continue with that work you have been done.
Now to now to the new leadership that you have welcomed them, the question is, do you think they will also deliver?
Yeah, they will deliver, and they are there with the South Sudan Trump. South Sudan Trump will deal with them, and they will be working with South Sudan Trump. If they will not work with South Sudan Trump, they will not be in that position.
Who is South Sudan Trump you are talking about here?
It's Benjamin Bolmel. The way Benjamin Bolmel did their thing is the way American Trump did their thing.
Oh, that's according to you. Thank you so much, community advisor, for sharing your thought always with us. Let's find out from this iRadio. iRadio. نعم في التغيير بهذا في judiciary system هل أنت متأكد بقدم خدمات للمواطنين؟ نسمع من داي راديو.
Yes, Madrama James, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
This is Gabriel.
Welcome, Gabriel.
Yes, actually, the changes will not contribute much because the new justice and deputy they will not actually contribute much because the constitutions that they are going to actually work as a law is the old one. So it will have been good if this guy will have come in the time of the new constitution is already finalized. That's one. Two, the old one, the old Chief Justice was much relying on the ruling party, was participating in the SPLM political party activities. There's a rally, you go with the SPLM, if there's something for the SPLM, you go with the SPLM, until you even forget that he is the one who is handling the law of the country. So if these people are going to fall into the same footsteps, and then I don't think whether they will do anything. I was thinking that these guys are non-partisan. They are not belong to any political party. This is where they will go and do the work for the South Sudanese. And if they are going to attach themselves to the SPLM political party again or have a political party, I think they will not do anything. They will not do anything. So I'm encouraging them, and I call them exactly if they are listening to the radio, let them not attach themselves with any political party. They have to be independent so that they do the welfare and they do the constitution and they treat everyone equal in the right or according to the law of South Sudan. They should not be fearing with the presidency. They should not be fearing with the parliament. They should not be fearing with someone who appoints them because they are the president. So let them not fear anybody. They have to work according to the law. I was thinking, want to replace the Chief Justice would have been a professor called Professor York. Professor York is the one who can, he's the right person that I can see, he can see that for you. But unfortunately, we will see these people, what are they going to do? But the time they will have been exactly kept until we have the new constitution. But now, they come within the old time of the old constitution, we need still, they need to be very careful. Otherwise, there's not going to be change.
Yeah, thank you. According to you, it's supposed to be Professor York, but President is also saying that it should be Dr. Benjamin Duck. Thank you. That's your thing. Thank you. All right. Now we have Batakore Tamba. He's saying changes are expected for better services, but in South Sudan, most of the changes has no impact. Thank you, Tamba, for sharing your opinion with us. Then Bol Aleo Thuch again that after this change, it's not important because they are the same entity and the same thing that the people of South Sudan do not want to happen. It is my issue that there is no law that holds people accountable and corruption is still ongoing. So where has I changed? That's the question. Abol, thank you for sharing your opinion with us. And then we have Lal Church, that this could be a pivotal moment for South Sudan's justice system. It's encouraging to see discussion about accountability and reform gaining traction. Thank you so much, and that is curious to see how this will impact public trust in the judiciary system moving forward. Let's hope it leads to meaningful changes. Thank you so much. Two more lucky callers, then we call it a show. Hi, Radio. Hi, Radio.
Yes. Hi, Radio.
There you are.
You are connected with Tematem from Wow.
Welcome, Tematem. It has been a while.
Yeah, thank you. How is Juba?
Juba is tamam. No complaint here where I am.
Tamam. Salam question. Now, in fact, we calculate with the president of the Republic. Because the totally belongs to everyone in South Sudan. For those who have been relieved, the thing that the president has to relieve them. It is because to bring another one, to bring him. So I can say like that because most of the people they do say that when the president comes on the outside, they have president has problem with him. Nothing like that. It belongs to all of us, this position. Every position is the government is belongs to everybody.
Now,
you in the studio there later on you will become a minister, and so it is the right to everyone elect.
Now,
My message to the yes.
Yeah, what do you really expect the new leadership at the judiciary to really do to the people of South Sudan in terms of service delivery?
Exactly. First of all, as we know, the decision is the one who can lead the country in the right way. Let the judiciary cooperate with the government of South Sudan. What I do call corruption is under the judiciary. So when the government is going the way which is not benefit to the citizens of South Sudan, the judiciary can stand with the citizens of South Sudan.
So the priority should be aiming at ending corruption.
Exactly, that is the first priority.
Thank you so much.
Right way.
Thank you. That was Atem from that's Northern Bar Al Khazal. Now let me give a chance to one more lucky caller. Hi radio.
Okay.
Misaha Nur. Ya salam herja tani mara. Hi radio.
Ramajan.
Aywa Lul.
How are you?
Tamam walai. How are you?
I'm good. I'm speaking to you from Bo Town.
Yeah, Zol.
Exactly.
Welcome. What's your take about this move?
As I told you a couple of days ago, Madrama, the turning of power from one person to the other is normal, and the president has mandate to do so. I think this is something that is not new. If you are appointed and then your time is over, and then you can pass the matter to other, and this is something that is normal. But I don't think it was up to the job, as many people criticize him for the failure in his leadership. But as a Chief Justice, you have to oversee all the process of the cases in the court, and you have to ensure that Constitution is respected and all the laws in the country are respected. I don't think he was doing his job. I hope the new Chief Justice will bring change in justice system in the country. So we need a justice of our country to be strong, and we don't need. As a Chief Justice,
You said you need the system, the judiciary system should be strong. Strong in what term?
Is strong in bringing the justice and to ensuring that all the laws are respected. For example, now in our country we have rampant corruption in the country, and this corruption always go unchecked, and we need the Chief Justice to look into this new Chief Justice to ensure that everyone is held accountable. No one is above the law, Madam Jim.
Sure.
This is what this is my perspective.
Thank you so much, Lul, for sharing your thought, and enjoy Medina Bor.
Thank you. I will back in till
all right. For now, dear listener, Lul should be my last caller, and first caller was Joseph Konyen. Thank you all for those who have shared in their opinion, and those who have also tried but couldn't really make it through. I apologize. Next time, better. Otherwise, thank you for sharing your constructive ideas and expectation on the new leadership at the judiciary system. If in case you have just joined us, we are almost ending our discussion centered on the removal of the Chief Justice and what the future also lies with the new leaders at the judiciary system. Thank you for those who have taken their humble time to write to us via that's our Facebook page, those who have called, and those who have also taken their humble time to listen to this program keenly. I do appreciate and I hope you have learned something. I am your host, Madrama James, and thank you for sharing your opinion with us.
Thank you, our esteemed listeners, for the vote of confidence in iRadio's brand as an independent broadcaster of news and information. Your vote of confidence has inspired our reporters and journalists to commit to the dissemination of accurate, verifiable, and credible news and programming to inform, educate, and entertain. As a result, iRadio's content has reached over 17 million people on Facebook, according to Facebook metrics for the last 3 years, a number larger than the population of South Sudan. Thank you for your continued feedback. For detailed news analysis, please check iRadio's website, www.iradio.org, and subscribe to or like iRadio's YouTube channel to get all our latest videos. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.